Imagine this, you look up at the sky and see a chicken, small, harmless, ordinary. Yet secretly, it is the last living branch of the dinosaur family tree. Now rewind 250 million years. The ground is splitting open, volcanoes hurl fire into the atmosphere, oceans turn poisonous, and more than 90% of life is disappearing. The planet is collapsing into silence. In a moment measured by geologic time, Earth hits the reset button. Yet hidden within this tragedy is the spark of something new, the rise of the greatest creatures ever to walk the planet. Before dinosaurs, Earth belonged to stranger beings. The late Paleozoic world was filled with alien life. Gigantic insects drifted through heavy air. Reptiles with sail-like spines soaked sunlight on endless plains. Ancient reefs teemed with strange armored fish that looked nothing like anything alive today. Forests were dense, dark, humid. Life thrived, but it was fragile. Around 250 million years ago, something unimaginable happened. Huge volcanic fields in Siberia split the ground apart. Lava poured out for hundreds of thousands of years. Toxic gases choked the air. Oceans overheated, losing oxygen. Rain became acidic, forests died, reefs collapsed, and food webs unraveled. This disaster, the Great Dying, wiped out nearly all life on Earth. Up to 96% of marine animals and 70% of land species vanished. If you had stood there then, you would see quiet lifeless plains, collapsed forests, and oceans filled with rotting life. It was the closest Earth has ever come to being sterile. But extinction is not only destruction, it is also opportunity. When dominant life forms vanish, open space appears. Predators disappear. Competitors evaporate. Niches, roles in the ecosystem become empty. Into this wounded world stepped survivors, tough, fast-evolving creatures capable of adapting to chaos. These survivors would eventually reshape life itself. Welcome to the Triassic period, Earth's recovery zone. The continents, still fused into the supercontinent Pangaea, formed a massive hot interior. Deserts stretched from horizon to horizon. Rain was scarce, life clung on in river valleys and coasts. Yet amidst this harsh world, revolutionary creatures evolved. Reptiles called archosaurs diversified into experimental shapes. Some became early crocodile relatives lurking in rivers. Others stretched membranes to glide, becoming ancestors of pterosaurs, flying reptiles. And a different branch developed small bodies, long legs, and upright posture. Fast, agile, alert, these were the first dinosaurs. Forget the Hollywood giants for now. Early dinosaurs were small, as big as dogs or slender humans. They ran on two legs, hunting insects and small animals, staying ahead of predators much larger than themselves. Yet they possessed qualities that mattered. They were fast, they grew quickly. They reproduced efficiently, they tolerated harsh climates. In a world recovering from extinction, these qualities were priceless. Their triumph came through adaptive radiation, one lineage splitting into many forms, each filling a different role. Some became better plant eaters, others developed sharper claws and teeth to pursue prey, some tried armor, others gained long necks or rigid tails for balance. Dinosaurs were not alone. The first mammals scurried at night, no bigger than mice. Crocodile ancestors prowled riverbanks, giant amphibians lurked in swamps. But dinosaurs were uniquely suited to the changing world. Now move forward into the Jurassic period, the classic age of dinosaurs. The climate softened, oceans stabilized, and rain returned. Forests grew tall and lush. Nature responded with gigantism. Enter the sauropods, living skyscrapers. Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, and Brachiosaurus stretched their necks high into the canopy, feeding where no other animal could. Their bodies were immense, up to 30 meters long. Yet their role was vital. By consuming tons of plant matter, they fertilized soil, spread seeds, and shaped forest growth. Without them, Jurassic landscapes might have been very different. Beside the giants grazed armored herbivores. Stegosaurus, with its iconic backplates and lethal tail spikes, moved slowly but carried formidable defenses. Other species developed bony clubs, spines, and thick hides to survive predators. Speaking of predators, this era forged efficient killers like Allosaurus, a top Jurassic hunter. With serrated teeth and powerful jaws, it hunted young sauropods or isolated herbivores. Ecosystems now pulsed with stability, giants feeding, predators stalking, and scavengers cleaning. Above it all, the skies awakened. Pterosaurs, masters of flight, soared over oceans and forests. Some were small as gulls, others spread wings wider than a car. They fished, hunted insects, and spread across continents, dominating the air millions of years before birds ever evolved. Dinosaurs had ascended from marginal survivors to complete rulers. But their final act was yet to unfold. The Cretaceous period, their peak. The continents broke apart, drifting into shapes we recognize today. With separation came isolation and innovation. Different continents produced different species and evolutionary strategies. North America shaped Tyrannosaurus rex, one of history's most terrifying predators, towering, bone-crushing, and smart for its size. Facing it was Triceratops, a living tank with 3 horns and a massive shielded skull, able to fight even T-Rex to a stalemate. Across Asia, evolution favored agility and intelligence. Small feathered hunters like Velociraptor likely hunted in packs, using claws shaped like sickles and quick reflexes. They were sleek, probably feathered, and nothing like their oversized movie portrayals. In Africa, the rivers belonged to Spinosaurus, a sailback semi-aquatic giant, longer than T-Rex, built for swimming and devouring fish. Meanwhile, plant-eating herds covered plains, hadrosaurs, ankylosaurs, ceratopsians, each armed with horns, armor, or tail clubs powerful enough to break bones. And a silent revolution was underway, the rise of flowering plants. Bright blooms appeared, attracting new insects. Juice-filled fruits evolved, feeding animals and dispersing seeds. This changed dinosaur diets and reshaped the world forever. The Cretaceous was the dinosaurland at maximum expression, diversity, size, specialization, and then an object appeared in the sky. 65 million years ago, a 10-kilometer asteroid entered Earth's atmosphere. It slammed into the shallow sea off Mexico in a blast equivalent to over 1 billion nuclear bombs. Trees became vapor. Shockwaves flattened forests continents away. Tsunamis taller than skyscrapers raced outward. But here is the misunderstood truth. Dinosaurs did not die in a single day. Dust, ash, and sulfur blasted into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight for years. Plants could not photosynthesize. Food chains collapsed, herbivores starved. Predators starved after them, forests burned then froze as temperatures plunged. The larger an animal was, the harder survival became. Eventually, the great reptiles faded. Some may have survived for thousands of years after the impact, their last roars lost in the haze of deep time, yet something surprising happened. Tiny mammals, once cowering beneath dinosaur shadows, flourished. Small size, high reproduction rate, and flexible diets let them thrive where giants failed. They diversified wildly. Some became fast runners, others excellent climbers, others returned to water and eventually became whales. Hooved mammals appeared. Primates evolved. Over tens of millions of years, mammals grew, competed, and rose to dominance. But dinosaurs did not truly disappear. Birds are dinosaurs. Beaked, feathered theropods survived because they could eat seeds and adapt diets when food was scarce. These survivors evolved into every bird alive today: hawks, pigeons, parrots, and indeed chickens. If you want to see a living dinosaur, you don't go to a museum, you go to a barnyard. Meanwhile, flowering plants spread everywhere, transforming landscapes into grasslands. Grazing animals followed, then predators, shaping ecosystems we recognize today. From primates, over millions of years, came our ancestors, eventually Homo sapiens. So, what really happened to the dinosaurs? They were forged in catastrophe, ruled longer than humans may ever rule, then were erased not by weakness but by randomness, by cosmic chance. Yet their legacy surrounds us, in the birds overhead, in the ecosystems shaped by their extinction, and in the evolutionary path that led to us. We live in a tiny fraction of Earth's story, a brief age standing on the bones of countless worlds before ours. Dinosaurs were not monsters of ancient nightmares. They were innovators, survivors, and architects of the living planet. And somewhere today, a chicken scratches the dirt, unaware that it carries deep within its bones the shadow of Tyrannosaurus rex. So subscribe to the channel for more updates.